Hello, everybody. This is Garrett. I'm doing console gaming radio. I have two guests today. I have Factor the Game and Mattytime. Factor the Game, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I am Andy or FactorTheGame. I typically just do Let's Plays and just recorded videos on my YouTube channel.
And
What's up,
Matty?
Factor?
What's going on?
How you doing, man? Everything good?
Everything's good, especially now my internet's working just fine.
That's
So
good.
no
Yeah, it
phone
is.
call
Because
for
I remember
me.
the last one. Yeah, the last episode we were it was just off, but now you're pretty clean, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. We got Matty Time here. What's up, Matty?
Yo, what's up?
He's back
What's up?
at it. If you guys remember, he was on one of our previous episodes.
Mhm.
Good to have him back for sure, man. Good to have you back for sure. It's gonna be a good conversation.
When I had stuff to talk about, because we were talking about Final Fantasy.
Right.
Right.
Now we're talking about Call of Duty and
Call of Boot. Yeah.
Call of Booty.
I can talk about that all day.
Hell yeah, I can too, buddy.
Unfortunately, I haven't really played a Call of Duty since the last one I played. I want to say it was 3.
Call of Duty, the third one? Yeah, Call of Duty 3.
Was Call of Duty 4 the first Modern Warfare?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I played that a little, but I didn't really play it. So
Mhm.
2 and 3 were the ones that I got super into.
Okay.
Okay.
Hell yeah. So
When I played Call of Duty,
I was 65.
I remember World War II like it was yesterday.
Yeah, dude. World
Yeah.
War II was okay. But
But
Oh,
before we get started, Factor, I seen some of your videos. You posted some videos. I seen a few of them. I liked it, man. But you've been finishing that game. How far are you so far?
for Kingdom Come Deliverance, I've actually finished it. I'm just doing my daily upload because right now you're about halfway through with the upload cycle. There's still like another 20 plus some to go.
Yeah.
dang.
And
You busted
then
that one
I
out.
just started Assassin's Creed Revelations actually today with the
Ooh.
upload as well.
Yeah, I saw that video today too.
Yep. I seen that one. I want to know how that one is because I was gonna play that before Odyssey came out, and I never got to it, and I always wanted to jump in.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what I want to do next. I was thinking like, well, I wanted to do all the Assassin's Creeds eventually, so let's just go right to the next one.
There you
Yep.
go.
We'll definitely get into that, man. But so let's jump into the Call of Duty real quick, man, because I'm super excited
Sure.
Okay.
and I want to get this thing going. So real quick, I mean, I think Garrett was gonna ask this question, but let's start off with this because we're gonna. First of all, for everybody listening, if you're a true, I wouldn't even say true gamer, but if you're a gamer, you've either heard of Call of Duty, played it, or both, one of the two, right? So Call of Duty for me is one of it's just a pivotal first person shooter that really almost defined the genre of first person shooters, right? Because Call of Duty is like just massive, right?
Right.
So what's your favorite Call of Duty, man? Like what's your guys' favorite Call of Duty? I can tell you right now, mine is the current Modern Warfare, but then also Modern Warfare 2 was my favorites by far. So
Right
what
off
about you guys?
and I'm thinking like just hours I've played into these games. I think Modern Warfare 2, I put 60 days in the first year it came out.
That's a lot
60
of days.
60 days in 1 year, so 1/6 of my time was playing that game.
Did you
Oh, wow.
did you get 10th prestige?
10th prestige. I had like all but
Legitimately?
like 5 challenges done.
Oh yeah. I remember prestiges back when those were the thing.
Yep.
If you weren't a prestige, you were lame.
Yeah.
Because
So-
those were the best. And I remember getting like when I was like 8 for 9 prestige, I felt like the best right there. It was amazing.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
with me with Modern Warfare 2, that was the first
Yep.
that was the first Call of Duty game that I beat on veteran. I
Mm.
almost collected all the intel, and I could have gotten all the achievements in that game if it wasn't for Spec Ops.
Yeah. Did you like Spec Ops in that one?
It was okay.
I think that was like the first. Was it the first or was it the first Modern Warfare? But that they introduced Spec Ops into that.
Modern Warfare 2 was
Yeah.
the first Spec Ops.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
they wanted to
Yep.
do something because Treyarch did the zombies. But in
Right.
multiplayer, I was like 5th or 6th prestige, and I played a lot of free for all, played a lot of domination, and tried to maximize my double experience weekends. Unfortunately,
Right.
back then I didn't have good internet, so my brother and I had to share gaming. So like when he was playing, I couldn't play. So
Yep.
so I just played more at nighttime.
Right.
The campaign was actually pretty good. It's my favorite Modern Warfare campaign, besides the new one. So the original trilogy, that was my favorite Modern Warfare campaign.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. When they did that one was mine.
Do they still have? Again, I'm speaking from someone who hasn't played a new Modern Warfare in a long, long time. On my Xbox 360. Are the single player campaigns still something they even really focus on?
Yeah.
I'd say yeah.
I would say
are.
about 90% of the time. We don't talk about Black Ops 4's campaign because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the campaigns are always well written. Like Modern Warfare 3's campaign was ended up written by the guy who wrote $1 Million Baby.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't know
but
that
I actually
either.
just saw it a second ago. I was like, oh, that's interesting fact.
Yeah. I'd say so. Here's the thing, like before, for example, you guys remember Call of Duty World at War?
Yes.
It was the World War II the first Japanese one,
Yeah.
because
The
they've
one
done
from
World War
Treyarch.
II, but they've never done the Pacific part.
Mhm.
So that one, I remember that one being super story driven.
Which one was that? World at War.
World at War. That's what the
Yeah.
Japanese version of the World War II.
So I didn't even play that one.
Amazing. That one was okay. So that one was super narrative, super story driven. And then over time, kind of like Factor said, when they did Black Ops 4, obviously it wasn't relevant there. But I think coming back to let's look at this Modern Warfare, they kind of came back to the story part of it, and they did a really good job with it too. I loved the story that they did with the most recent Call of Duty. I don't know if you guys liked it.
What are they? So I mean, I'm asking as somebody who is just been. So okay, so whenever I talk to someone about Call of Duty, I'm like, oh, why should I play it? And the thing everyone says, and it's something that turns me off. It's like taking a cold shower.
Right.
Is they're like, oh, the multiplayer, and I don't really care because it was always the single player campaigns and like the immersion that really got me. So like on the modern ones, what are you building up to? Like, what are those final battles like? Because one of my favorite like gaming moments was at the end of Call of Duty 3 or 2. I literally can't remember because those two games blur together for me at this point. It's been so long.
Yeah.
But the end of the game, it's not like you're facing off against one dude. You get up on top of a hill and it's based off a real battle where it's just you and a mortar, and all these tanks are coming up the hill. And you just gotta fend off the tanks. You have no idea when it's going to let up and you're running out of ammo, and you just keep going and going until it stops. And it's like super like, I'm going to die. And it's just crazy intense, but it's also like a super simple idea. And it was great. But what are they like now? What are you going like mono against one like main villain, or are you going up against a horde? Like, what are those final battles like?
It depends on the game, really, because
Yeah, definitely.
After 3, of course, Modern Warfare, the original came out, they designed that to be a trilogy. So, like, you get a main villain that you have to take out, then someone else gets in power in the second one, then you end up taking that guy out. Then you find out that you have to kill one more person in Modern Warfare 3. You finally take him out, and that's the end of that trilogy. The World at War and the Black Ops games are all kind of connected because of Victor Reznov.
Yep.
And those games are a little harder to explain because first it takes place in World War II, then it switches to Cold War, then it goes like 20 years, and like it goes in the future.
They get kind of like science fiction-y, right?
Yeah, exactly.
After Black Ops 2, I want to say, is when they started really getting into the like advanced warfare and all that crap. But also, if you look at the most recent one, that one is split between. It's not even really a storyline, more so like split between segments, I guess. Like, I wouldn't say there's like a storyline. For example, with any other game, you go through. It's the same, the same environment, and you're going through, and you kind of go up in level and all that crap. That one's more like, okay, one level's in Piccadilly or whatever that's called in UK, right? And then another level is in, another country, and then so I think that's how it is. But they kind of sync up like that. And then in the last level, to answer your question, is there like a big boss battle? honestly, I forgot how it was in the last part. I think because I played the whole campaign
Right.
for Modern
One.
Warfare. I forgot how the last level was.
So I do remember it because you play with two different characters like you do in the old games. Because in the Modern Warfare trilogy, you follow the SAS and then you
Yeah.
follow the army. They kind of
Mhm.
went back to that route. You know, you're in the new Modern Warfare. You have Alex and you with the Middle East.
Yeah.
Then
Mhm.
you have Garrick or Kyle, whatever his name is. I forgot
Yeah,
his
Kyle
name.
Garrick.
Yeah, Kyle Garrick, and you're following Captain Price. So he has his own set of missions, and one side kills the main villain, the other side does something else, and they kind of meet up in the end like the older games.
Yeah,
So
that's
they,
it.
so they
So
went back to that route. But if you go back in time with like the Advanced Warfare, the World War II game, Black Ops 3, you go after one villain, and it's kind of like main character, and you just go through the missions.
yeah, yep. So it's very like split in that sense. But if you haven't played it, I love the. I guess the big thing is the aesthetically how it is. Like I can't. So the other Call of Duties, man, like they're like. And this is one thing why I like Call of Duty, especially this most recent one, is I feel like you're immersed inside of a real war. The guns look great. The character models are great. The AI is great. Like AI is a big thing for me because I hate stupid fucking AI, right?
Right.
And they're pretty good. They take cover and all that stuff. You're really immersed. And for me, if you haven't played Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and you should really play that, man, you're missing out on a great game. That's what I love about it. And that's even aside from multiplayer. I can get into multiplayer all day, and we could talk about the Warzone. Garrett knows how much I love Warzone.
You keep
But
playing every day. You keep asking me to play, and every time I
yeah,
jump on, you're playing with your family.
you
So
don't you hear me.
Oh yeah, from across the hall.
He hears me screaming at fuckers like move.
right.
Do you guys know if any of those the older Modern Warfare games, like the ones that I skipped, are those like available like through like the PlayStation Network for PS4?
Yeah.
Like, do you know if they
God.
updated them for modern systems?
Yeah. So
The first two Modern
sorry, go
Warfares
ahead.
are remastered.
Okay.
For PS4, especially the second one just came out today, remastered. The third one is supposedly already remastered. They just haven't released it.
Hmm.
That's what I
So
read.
what I'm
Really?
thinking is going to happen is, okay, they released Modern Warfare 2 remastered because they already had the first one remastered. But I'm thinking when they reboot the Black Ops series, that's heavily rumored right now, they might release the original Black Ops campaign remastered.
Black Ops 1.
Yeah, the original.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking
Yeah.
they're gonna switch off like that, and or they might just do Modern Warfare 3 remastered. Who knows? Like, what's gonna happen? But Modern Warfare 2 campaign came out today. It's 4K. Um,
How'd you like it from a personal standpoint?
I played a couple
'Cause you played-
missions. I played past No Russia, that controversial airport scene where you're killing civilians.
Yeah, have you heard
And-
of that one? No Russia. Okay, so just to explain, because I feel like No Russia was so controversial when that shit came out, man. Like, okay, so long story short, you shoot. You're essentially a terrorist in this level, and you have to go. You're in this airport, and there's like a crowd and stuff. I'm not gonna go into detail, but you basically shoot innocent people as a terrorist
Oof.
in a crowd.
Now,
So
Now you don't actually have to do that mission. They made it
Yeah, you
where
can
you could skip it, or if you do that mission, you can. They made it where you don't even have to shoot your gun until the last part of the mission, where you fight police officers and all that. So like you don't even have to. You don't even have to do it, and there's no achievements or trophies tied to that mission. So they make it very optional.
yeah, but you can see how because you're shooting like
Mhm.
spraying down innocent people in the airport.
And this
in
is
large
this is post
crowd.
9/11 stuff. So
Yeah, I can see how that would
Yeah,
that would raise a few eyebrows.
yeah,
and that shit got a big backlash when it came out. You guys remember that?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
people were just. I remember they almost took out the whole level as a whole, and because of that, you know.
yeah, and I'm actually surprised they even put it back into Modern Warfare Remastered, the second
Right.
one. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm surprised
okay.
they did that. We'll see. Maybe it might get backlash again. You never know.
Yeah, or maybe people just focus on the coronavirus right now. But like I said,
That's a good point.
but like I said, they did change a little bit of stuff. Like in Modern Warfare 2, the original, when you get shot, you get blood spatters on your screen, and it's very hard to see. So they actually took that out and put it like normal, like the older games where your screen just turns red. And then
Oh, okay.
waypoint system, they updated that where it's actually easier to see the waypoints, or you need to follow someone and all that. So that's cool. And they added new Easter eggs. Like there's a achievement slash trophy in the game where you kill the main villain in the beginning of the game.
Uh,
Because if for all the people who played the original, you know who the main villain is, so you can actually shoot him in the beginning of the game. You'll fail the mission, but you pop your trophy because of it.
Oh snap!
So there's little Easter eggs on that one. And if you played the original Modern Warfare Remastered, you can actually kill the villain in the second and third game, and kill your and finish your mission. Then you get a time paradox trophy. So they added cool stuff like that. And Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, they have a golden Desert Eagle you could find in the mission. But in the original games, they didn't even have gold camos in there.
Right, right.
So they added cool stuff like that, and that's pretty cool. And I might actually go for the platinum trophy in that game, because that campaign is actually the easiest campaign out of all the Call of Duty games. Because one, I beat it on veteran, so that tells you something.
Yeah.
So, and that's the only Call of Duty that I ever beat on veteran. So
It's probably a real bad time though for me to explore Call of Duty because there's other stuff coming. For me at least, there's Final Fantasy's coming out in 10 days.
That's true.
Right.
Yep.
So that
It's gonna put a burden on that. You want to focus on that. I feel like I was questioning because I remember G Mills was telling me, oh, they're doing a remaster of Call of Duty, whatever. Mm-hmm. At first, I was like, okay, Warzone is such a big thing right now, and the multiplayer on Call of Duty Modern Warfare is still big, and the game is still very active. Like, it's kind of like, how would that kind of be? But I really want to try it now. I really want to try the remaster. It sounds really dope.
Now, what you gotta realize, so the PS4 version is out today. Xbox and PC is gonna be out next month. So hopefully you could beat Final Fantasy VII by the 30th of next month.
That one's coming out when again? Final Fantasy?
On the 10th.
On the 10th.
The 10th of April?
Well, beating it, I expect to do fairly quickly. But if Final Fantasy turns out to be as big as Final Fantasy 15 is, which is kind of what they're saying, I kind of expect to be putting 200 plus hours into the game. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. So Maddie, you played Call of Duty 2 and 3, and you dabbled into 4. So what would you say your favorite Call of Duty out of all the ones you played?
Out of the 2 that I played?
Yeah.
Well, because they're mashed up.
Yeah, like I said earlier, they've definitely blurred together. So I played them back to back. And even when I played them, like they had been out for a while. I think I want to say Modern Warfare was already out when I played them. I think it was a thing where I could just get them at GameStop for cheap. You know?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when I moved here and I was just purging a lot of my belongings, my 360 wasn't worth anything.
Mm-hmm.
The controllers were worth more than the system because the controllers are great for PC gaming. So I kept the controllers, but I just threw my 360 in the garbage because it was only worth $20.
Yeah.
So I don't have it anymore. But so they do blur together. So I don't have a strong opinion about which one was my favorite. I have moments though that really stand out. I mentioned the ending of one of them where you're going up against those tanks. That was super intense. And then all the, it really recreated the feeling of like trench warfare. So it's raining, you're in the mud and you're crawling through the trenches, and like you got to keep your head down, and you can't really, at least as I recall, you couldn't really run and gun and just force your way through it. You had to actually think about tactics, and you couldn't just jump up and get your head blown off. You had to creep through.
Right.
And it felt very intense, that really raw feeling of World War II, which isn't really connected to to modern warfare,
Right,
so,
no,
so to speak.
no, they're not.
You know,
Definitely.
it's almost primitive in the way it was, because you in World War II you had in like you had situations where people are crawling through the mud with, well, I mean, heck, if you've seen any of those movies, Saving Private Ryan or whatever,
Oh, my favorite military movie,
crawling through the
Black
mud.
Hawk Down.
Well, that wasn't World War II.
That was World War II, but still my favorite. One of my
But,
favorite.
you know, crawling through the mud with limited resources, and you're relying on your bayonet, and you have no armor except your helmet, and it's, you know, it's almost medieval in a way, and that vibe really appeals to me. You know, it was very, very dramatic, and I think those early games kind of, at least for the time, captured that feel. I think that's a big reason why I never got into the later games, was because
of that.
Because
would like Modern War. You would like World War II then.
Yeah, I might like it. The thing that I enjoyed about those early Call of Duty games deliberately didn't exist in the later ones, and I think that's why I was never really drawn to them.
Right. And and you guys know what I'm talking about, the World War II one.
Yeah,
I personally thought it was. I didn't like it, but I think for you would probably love it. It's another World War II, but better graphics because it's more modern.
I recall that it got mediocre reviews.
Yes.
But I feel like that was because, like, when the Modern Warfare games came out, Call of Duty, it went from being popular to being like the number one FPS for at least a time, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of that second wave of people who came in with Modern Warfare, I think there was more of them, I think. So the broader opinion about the earlier games was more influenced by the newer players.
Yeah.
At least that's my impression. Am I getting that? Am I anywhere close to reality with that?
Yeah. See, but the thing is, with 2 and 3, they were based off real battles. Then when Modern Warfare came out, they kind of did their own stories. And when World at War came out, they wanted to do a more gritty version of World War II, because the 2 and 3 were rated teen, but when World at War came out, they really went uncensored, and they made that game rated M. There's like people getting limbs blown off and stuff like that. Then ever since then, we haven't had a World War II game. Then when Sledgehammer came out with the World War II, I'll be honest, I didn't really like the single player that well. I kind of like the fact that they went back to a health pack system in single player, and not the regenerated health
Generation. Yep.
But I didn't really like the story because they didn't really have a villain.
Yeah, and I also think because and they've added mechanics in World War II. For example, you can request like ammo or medical kits or whatever from your AI. You know, like where you press X and they throw you a ammo box or something like that. But a lot of it was like, I don't know, it felt almost unrealistic to me, because there will be a lot of levels where you're just like freaking, 4 or 5 people fighting against a whole shitload of, German soldiers, and I feel like, and then 2 and 3, I know there was a lot of AI where it was like people really engaged in it with you, like while you're in the trenches. Here it felt a little bit off for me, and I hated the multiplayer. Yeah, I hated it. And it was super, what's it called? What do I always talk about when they fucking make you pay for shit?
Oh, microtransactions?
Yes, it had a shitload of microtransactions, which I hated with a passion. Literally.
Okay.
It killed the game for me.
So, Hector, what is your favorite Call of Duty single player and multiplayer from the 7th generation consoles?
Modern Warfare 4.
So the original Modern Warfare
4. Or Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, I meant. My favorite.
I know what you mean. And I'm pretty sure everyone else.
There's so many Call of Duties, dude. I literally get confused. But yeah, it's Call of Duty. Modern Warfare is my favorite. So by far.
What makes so what do you like better, the single player aspect or the multiplayer? I know you're gonna say multiplayer.
That's a great question, man, because at first I'm always a story driven person. I love stories in games by far. I love campaigns. I love things like that. So at first when I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I was very appealed by the story, and you got to keep in mind we had new graphics at that point, right? We had new everything, and we never seen that before. We had a modern setting, things like that. But then I started playing, and I don't know if you guys remember how the clan tags and things like clans became a super huge thing. where you can be a clan in Modern Warfare,
Mhm.
and it'd probably be 50-50, man, because half of me love the campaign and the other half I loved whooping ass and quick scoping with my clan. You guys get me?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, it's like 50-50 for me. More so on the multiplayer side because now I'm a multiplayer person. So, but yeah, it was 50-50 for me.
See, with me, with Call of Duty 4, I did like the progression. That's when they first started doing the progression, and they actually made kill streaks official because they dabbled into like kill streaks and other stuff in the older games with multiplayer
Yeah,
on 2 and maybe 3. I don't know about 3. That's like my least favorite. But
I hated Ghosts. I'll tell you that much.
yeah. And with the progression system, you rank up to level 55, I believe, in the original Modern Warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Then you prestige, you lose everything. The only thing I don't like about prestiging, you have to earn your weapons and your weapon camos again. But
Yeah.
it,
Yep.
it
Oh
was
yeah,
it
I
was
remember that. Fucking hated that, man.
it was the first of its kind, so it did have its issues, but it was revolutionary back then. And
Yeah, for sure.
and since
For
you
sure.
do have a lot of maps where there's a lot of buildings, you have to work together with your team to to defeat campers. So that's why I didn't like the bigger maps. I like the smaller maps where it's like really open, like maps like Shipment, Kill House,
Yeah.
Wet Work. I do like Downpour. I dabbled into Downpour. So what's your some of your favorite maps in Modern Warfare, the original?
Man, okay, so if maps, I don't really remember because I feel like from Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you guys could probably tell me some of them because I don't really remember off the top, but I do that one map. It was a really big quick scoping map, like where you can really quick scope dudes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I
Just
forgot the
describe it.
name
I
of the
could
map, but it
probably
was
tell you.
super. What?
Just describe it.
So it had it was almost like it was like in the sand area. There was warehouses and things like that. It was very warehouse location.
Ambush.
Ambush. Was it ambush? Yeah.
It could be
That sounds like
ambush
ambush.
or
Yeah.
backlock.
I think it was
That
ambush.
was good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sand area.
ambush for me. But yo, if we're talking about maps, Nuketown by far. I whooped ass in Nuketown.
Yeah, but that's
I know
different.
you've
That
heard of
is a
Nuketown.
different
You heard of
game though.
Nuketown?
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
there.
we're not there yet. But have you heard of Nuketown before?
A map?
Yeah, on Call of Duty.
No.
No, fucking Nuketown, bro.
So-
All right, I'm gonna let y'all take it because I could go on about Nuketown. I used to
So
whoop ass in
in the
Nuketown.
60s they make like little fake towns where they test nukes, and that's what that map's based off. So every time you play on that fake town, they nuke it.
Wait, did you say Nuke Town?
Nuketown.
Oh,
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
No. So I didn't understand.
know-
No.
yeah.
No, I understand the concept. I thought you said Newtown,
Oh no, Nuketown.
and I thought you were talking about the in Connecticut with the kids and stuff. And I was like,
No.
what the? Fuck?
Shooting little kids and shit.
I had no idea where you were going with that. Freaking me the hell out.
Imagine that. Where it's like they make a map where you just shoot children.
No, I don't want to. That's terrible.
That wouldn't be
okay,
released.
But I know you're talking about the fake towns like in Los Alamos when they did the
the nuke
that's-
stuff. Yep, that's
yeah.
what this based around. That map is based around that.
Like
but
in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom
Right.
of the Crystal Skull.
right, great movie.
So
Great movie. We gotta do.
What?
I liked it. I love the Indiana Jones movies.
I love them too, but okay,
But we could talk about that on your podcast because that one's gonna be a good discussion. I was gonna talk about it last time.
sure.
But yeah, guys, let me
Yeah.
ask you this question.
Okay.
What's your guys' least favorite Call of Duty? Because we talk about the best ones, but there was some shit Call of Duties, man.
Three.
I'll tell you right now, I feel like Ghost and Advanced Warfare. I hated them both for some reason.
3.
3, you
Yeah.
hated that one?
I couldn't finish it. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's so old at this point. But when I got it, when it first came out, I still couldn't finish it.
Now, are we talking campaigns or are we talking multiplayer?
Campaigns.
In general, probably campaigns, whatever.
Do you mean Call of Duty 3 or Modern Warfare 3?
Call of Duty 3.
Oh, okay. Oh, so the one I finished.
Yeah, he hated that shit.
Oh well. Well, I guess you just aren't a real game.
You're just not a real gamer then, Gary. Because
when you get as good as I was back in World War II.
That's when you know. He fought in World War II, so he knows very well. Not playing, but
I fought in the First World
yeah,
War, the Great War, the Gulf War, or whatever.
the go for it. So I personally think Ghost was shit. What do you think about that factor? Because I feel like you played a lot of Call of Duty, obviously. What was your least favorite?
If I'm saying campaign, I'm gonna go with World at War.
Oh, what? Why? Really?
The story. Let me tell you, explain. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this because the story was amazing, like you said. World at War, but I play all my campaigns on veteran. I want to play at the hard difficult just to go and get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
World at War was a grenade fest.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally every 3 steps, there's a grenade.
Mm-hmm.
There's a grenade. There's a grenade, and it just becomes like you would literally couldn't progress because there's so many grenades constantly thrown at you. So I was just like, I'm over this. It's probably the only campaign I remember not finishing right offhand, just because I got sick of the grenade spam in a campaign, not multiplayer, but campaign was.
Yeah. So with me, World at War had a great multiplayer. I like the bigger maps. I didn't really like, but the smaller maps, people are more running around, and it was classic 3-lane maps with most of the maps. The DLCs were great. I like how they did the DLCs. They put them in the rotation. If you didn't have them, they kick you out of the lobby, so people actually played the maps.
Yep, definitely.
And that's when they introduced the zombies. The zombies was great. My favorite Call of Duty in the 7th generation consoles. We're going back to Nuketown here. The original Black Ops.
Big facts. Big facts.
So,
yeah.
So the original Black Ops took place in the Cold War, the Vietnam era. You fought in like Cuba. The first mission, you take out Castro.
That mission was dope as hell.
Yeah.
You took out Castro.
Really?
And Fidel Castro in the first mission of Black Ops.
Well, that's not how history really went.
Yeah, no, it was all fucked up, but it was fun as hell.
Yeah, this is during the time where they kind of did their own thing.
So does that mean that the other games like follow like that alternate history?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
That's kind of interesting.
So after the original Modern Warfare, that's when they started doing their own thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love the. Okay, let's talk about zombies though, because if we're gonna talk about Black Ops, you got to talk about zombies. I still to this day love the first Black Ops zombies, especially what is it?
Keter der Toten.
Yeah, Keter der Toten. That's the long, hassle to say, but Keter der Toten, man. So if you didn't know, was it the first Black Ops where they introduced zombies?
It was World War. It was the World at War.
World at War.
The zombies was supposed to be like an Easter egg, but it took off so well that they actually included it into the map packs on the World at War. And so when Black Ops came out, by then they actually had a story, character arcs, everything. Of course, everything was stereotypical. You had the American military, ooh rah, then you had the German scientists, and you had the Japanese guy.
Yep.
The drunk Russian.
And the drunk Russian, so.
The drunk Russian. Yeah.
So by then they had their own story, and I think at the end of the original Black Ops, you end up on the moon, but the campaign of the Black Ops, the premise of that, you were brainwashed and you're being interrogated, so you're telling the story while you're being interrogated.
Right.
And so that's cool, and like throughout the whole campaign you hear, what are the numbers, Mason? And this is the first Call of Duty where your character actually talks, and this is the first Call of Duty where you're actually following one character.
Yeah.
Then when multiplayer came out, they took all the issues that the Modern Warfare 2 had, and they fixed it. So that means no more one-man army, noob, no more tactical insurgents and free-for-all. Everything was a balanced version of Modern Warfare, but set in the past a little bit. And all the maps were 3-lane. Out of all the launch maps, I didn't like 2. This was the first Call of Duty game where I liked 80% of the maps. And that's very surprising with me.
Yeah, I don't feel like you're the biggest Call of Duty fan.
Why?
Well, I don't know. You barely want to play Modern Warfare.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, here's my problem with the Modern Warfare series, and it's true to this today. They have 5 good maps, and everything else is a camp fest.
You're
Some
not
would say.
wrong.
Some would say. You agree with that? Back.
I would. The problem with I play a lot of Modern Warfare. I'm already like max rank. I'm down to one challenge still have to do for season 2, and it's just like I can't stand the 6v6 or the 10 maps. I play ground war. It's all I ever play because it's 32 on 32. Everybody's moving around. It's mass chaos. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But like regular maps, I mean, I feel like if you're not playing Shoot House or Shipment or even Rust, sometimes it's a camp fest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the newer one, you can't even finish a free for all match or team deathmatch match or kill confirmed match. So there's no point. And,
yeah, I think a lot of people think the same thing, but I kind of disagree in a sense. I feel like, from my experience at least, it's not a lot of. There is camping. Don't get me wrong. Any Call of Duty you play is gonna have fucking camping, but it's not to the extent where it's not playable. Especially when you're playing Search and Destroy. You're gonna camp if you're a defender, but at one point you're forced to put the bomb down or whatever. So I think it depends on the game modes as well. But
yeah, that is
I don't
true.
know, man. Maybe I'm just biased. I fucking love that game.
So and that's what I liked about Black Ops, the original Black Ops, because all the maps were basically 3-lane maps. You can get around most of the camping spots. So when people are camping, you know how to fight it in that game.
Yeah, definitely. So we're talking about Call of Duty and stuff. I wanted to ask one question, all right? And I think this is a controversial question. You could even jump into this too. If it's just general for anyone that's played Call of Duty or knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think that the genre, or not the genre, but the game, the series itself, is getting repetitive, or do you think they still have a chance to like really make something out of Call of Duty? Because right now, they've just like obviously the newest one is the Modern Warfare, but I'm thinking to myself, what can we expect at this point? They've done World War II, they did the World War, they did the Modern Wars, right? They've added zombies. They've done the science fiction phase, right, with Black Ops 2 Zombies, where you were able to kill aliens and shit like that, right? So they did a lot of these things. What can they do now?
Well, I think that's why they why they ended up doing stuff like Modern Warfare and pushing it into the science fiction realm, because like if you keep, as much as I like the World War II ones, if you keep doing that over and over again, obviously people were going to get sick of it. Although I would say I personally would have enjoyed it. There's so many different theaters and campaigns from the real World War II that you could have made huge games out of each one and kept doing that. But obviously they made a marketing decision that people don't want more World War II games. But you make a good point. But I think some of the other avenues they could have gone, other franchises have sort of snatched up those ideas,
Right. Like Battlefield is one.
Sort of. Or even like trying to go in a different direction science fiction wise.
Right.
Like a game series that I got really into, I never played the third one, but PlayStation was like, okay, we want to do our own Halo.
Ooh, Garrett's a big Halo fan.
But then they were also like, we also want to do our own Modern Warfare.
Right.
So, or our own Call of Duty. So what if we just did both together? And did you play any of you guys play Resistance?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Resistance. The game's name. I'm like, what is it? Oh yeah, Resistance. Yeah.
Resistance was great. I never played the third one, and I think, as I understand it, they sort of shifted genre to like survival horror for that one. But Resistance 1 and 2, and I also played the PSP one. They were great because you were in World War II, and the first one was with World War II tech, and then you had to like fight aliens and get in their shit, and it became like a Halo game. The second one, you started off with like everyone had like futuristic technology. It was kind of like we figured out how to build futuristic ospreys using alien technology. So it lost that true World War II vibe. But the first one, it was Call of Duty, like old school Call of Duty versus Halo. That's basically what the premise was.
Yeah.
But I bring that up because that game was awesome, and I could talk about those games for a bit. But that's like an example of like, okay, where do you go next with Call of Duty now that you're doing sci-fi and warfare? Do you have them go up against aliens? Well, Resistance already did that,
Right.
you know. Or do you do
Do you do a zombie? How many zombie games we've had? You know what I mean?
right, you know? And I mean, not even, is there any point in doing like a full-on, well, they tried to do a battle royale with the last one, right?
They actually, this most recent one is they have the battle royale.
The
which is very
Warzone is
successful.
battle royale.
Okay, yeah. So, but that's not a new idea though.
No.
You know, the
No, it's
most
not a new
popular
idea.
most popular game for the last 2 years has been Fortnite, you know?
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I think more people who like Call of Duty would prefer more of a non-Fortnite style battle royale, like a PUBG type thing, something that's
Right.
based off real tactics. But the point being, I mean, I would. The thing I hate the most about Fortnite is I don't want to build anything, and and
Yeah.
that's the whole point, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you raise a good question, and I'm not answering it. I'm just saying there's not a great answer. Where do you take such a specific genre into its next phase
Right.
without
If it's going to
changing
be
the
a
game?
continuating, series, where
Right.
can you go with it?
Even making it into a horror series at the time, because if you remember when it was exploding, it's like the 360 era.
Yeah.
So remember Fear? Did any of you guys play Fear?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Same thing where
That little girl?
I only played the
Creepy.
first two, and I never played the third one.
Yeah.
But Fear was great. But Fear was like, okay, Call of Duty, but horror.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
So here's the thing. This goes into my favorite 8th generation Call of Duty, because you're right, they did everything. Only thing that they really haven't done was an open world single player Call of Duty, like a Far Cry style.
Right.
That's
right.
I just came up with a great idea, but I'll wait till everyone's done for
Yeah. Yeah. I want to hear
So
that.
they haven't came up with something like that yet. I would like to see them try it. Maybe it will fall flat on their face because the Call of Duty campaigns are meant for training for multiplayer. So maybe they won't do that. But my favorite 8th generation Call of Duty game is Infinite Warfare, because they took Call of Duty into space. They have
Infinite Warfare. You like that one?
Yes, that's my favorite Call of Duty game of
You
all
like
time.
the futuristicness of it?
I like the futuristic of it, and back then, like I'm going, I had Mass Effect more in my mind, not Andromeda, but the older ones, and I do like the fact that, you have, you go into space, you select a mission from your ship and all that, and
Was
you-
that just set in space with like practical concepts, or were you fighting aliens in that
No,
one?
you're just setting space. You're set in space. You're in war with the colony on Mars. I forgot what this. I forgot what the enemy was called, but the main villain is Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, and you end
Is
up
it?
taking him
What?
out.
The,
Yeah.
Jon Snow, really?
The actor.
I
Yeah,
did
the
not know
actor.
that.
Yeah,
I
the
played that
actor.
game.
So so you follow some
Love that
guy
show.
named Nick Reyes, and you follow his journey, and you take out this terrorist group that has control of Mars, because they take over colonies and they plant their flag, so they're trying to take over all the other colonies, and of course
Right.
you have your military that's on like Earth, and you're trying to stop it. And the cool thing about this story is a lot of, like, some people from Uncharted went to Infinity War to write the story. So
Oh, dope.
it's gonna be a good story. A lot of people didn't like the fact that it was in space, but I loved it. Like,
Have you do you guys remember what's that guy from? Have you ever seen House of Cards?
I know of it.
Do you know the main character?
Kevin Spacey?
yeah,
Yeah,
Kevin
you guys
Spacey.
remember the game with Kevin Spacey? Was that Infinity Warfare?
No,
That's
it's
Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare.
hmm
Yep. Hated that game too.
Yeah, I hated that game, but I didn't actually. No, I take it back. I didn't hate that game, but they went too far with the advanced movement.
Yeah.
See, when Black
Yeah.
Ops 3 came out, they toned it down. Then when Infinite Warfare came out, they kind of used that same style. And since
Going
they,
back, I remember this now. I actually did play Advanced Warfare's campaign. I thought I didn't. I get them confused. And the meme "press F for respects" came from Advanced Warfare.
The what? The what?
The meme.
Uh huh.
Press F.
press F for respect. You see that on like all your Twitch chats and your Reddits and YouTubes.
Yeah.
There's a scene where your buddy dies. You go to his funeral and you have to literally press F.
Oh yeah. The Marine Corps one, right? They're like wearing Marine stuff.
Yes.
Which, by the way, they fucked that up. If you guys don't know about military, stop putting shit that you don't know because they fucked up the uniform. They fucked up the fucking shit. No.
Maybe they can put the exact uniform in
different
there.
universe, right? Like it's an alternate timeline,
Yeah,
right?
it is an alternate
uniform.
timeline.
Well, I think it is, unless
I feel, well, my point is, I feel like if they do things differently, it's not because they fucked up. I think it's because they made a deliberate choice to make things not based off reality. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think so because the uniform
way
is
too much research goes into the
Are you
design.
talking about the new Modern Warfare?
No, I'm talking about the one that Factor just said. I think it was Advanced, where that one part with the, if you guys remember, where you were doing like the funeral and you lost your arm or some shit, and you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. So that uniform, the reason I say that is because that uniform, and I know for a fact, Activision, you're not fucking playing no one, all right? I know for a fact that.
Hey, leave Activision alone. It's all Sledgehammer. They don't make Call of Duty games anymore. They got
I'm
the
just
boot.
saying. They should have researched that. I've seen it too many times. Even in movies, they have a Marine Corps uniform, and they have like some weird shit that's not even that would like. Come on now, do your research. But yeah, other than that,
so I wonder how much of that's deliberate because in movies the different branches have rules about using depictions of them in movies. Like in movies, it's a big deal. Like you can get like the Air Force to donate time and real fighter jets to a movie production.
really,
If they approve of the depiction in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like product placement. And if they don't approve, that you can't do it. So
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
They may have to deliberately change things in video games to make it like off-brand Marines so that the government can't disapprove.
Yeah.
And that might be why you see stuff like that. You know?
Yeah, because I remember when that came out, a lot of people commented on it too. I remember my Facebook, all my military friends, what the fuck? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, that's probably why.
That's why like Michael Bay movies, like those Transformers and shit, they're really like, you'll go Army, go Marines, like to the point of being goofy about it.
Yeah.
Because they use real Army shit.
Yeah.
And the Army has to have final say.
Yeah.
Independence Day, like that's a great example where the Air Force had final say over everything.
Yep.
So anytime you see real Army stuff in a movie, you never see real Army stuff in a movie and a controversial depiction because they have to approve if they're going to use real stuff.
Yep.
And I don't know exactly. I'm kind of just speculating a little bit, but I wonder, especially for franchises that big, how much approval they have to get for using real Army stuff. And that could be why you get incorrect uniforms and off-brand Army things because they probably can't use.
It's a great point. And Call of Duty's pretty controversial in some parts. So
right.
Yeah.
Like if there's a game where you're shooting civilians, I'm sure that
They don't want
that raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
And I think because I work on a military base now, and Hector did bring up a point in his Modern Warfare review that the uniforms were wrong, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, because because the actual uniforms that the military has is a lot more detailed, and some of them have their name on it, and they have all their sometimes they have their ranks on them, so I feel like in the games they're just kind of bare bone, which is I kind of figured they didn't have permission to use the actual uniforms.
Or it could be a resources thing. It could be about reusing textures. Excuse me, geez.
Textures.
My voice just broke.
He just had a Mickey Mouse, guys.
Excuse me, Mr. Mr. Simpson. Would you like fries with that, Mr. Simpson? But like the Simpsons, the pimply kid.
Yeah.
But it could be just reusing textures across different character models.
Right.
That could be part of it too.
Right.
I'm sure. My point is, I'm sure there's a reason they chose to do that, as opposed to not knowing what they're doing.
Yeah, but real talk, because I feel like we kind of hit on it a little bit, but maybe I guess a better way to think of it is what are some things that we could possibly see in the next one? Because I think they're so dried right now with ideas another Modern Warfare We've seen that. Another World War fucking whatever, we've seen that. Another futuristic game, we've seen that, and we've hated it after the second one or third one.
Here's what they're gonna
can you
do.
with Call of Duty. What can you do to make the franchise?
I got a good answer.
You know what I mean?
I got a good answer, right?
Yeah, you ready?
So,
yeah.
So like, you get a Call of Duty game. You pick a setting. It could be in the future. I'd love it if it was World War II. But you ground it in real combat, real type, plausible stuff like most of the games are. But I don't know if a game has quite done this where you take real military first-person shooter things, but you have the villain, right? Say it's like a fucking Russian or whatever, and they find like a thing, like some sort of ancient artifact, like a magic staff.
That, like a Thor hammer.
Yeah, something like that. And it summons fantasy creatures from like another world or from underground or the distant past. So you have like World War II or modern shit. You have like real guns and real soldiers fighting like dragons and goblins and shit.
That's pretty dope.
That's a game I want to see.
Now,
and I'm sure someone's thought of it. Maybe you guys know. Is there a game out there like that?
They kind of do that with the zombies because that's what see for the third mode, like the zombies and the stuff like that. That's when they usually go off the wall. They want to like Activision wants their single player campaigns to be more grounded, be more realistic.
Well, if they're getting into science fiction stuff, right? Like if you're out in outer space and whatever, like if you're gonna push it a little farther. If you're out in outer space, the next logical step is to fight aliens. If you're gonna get that wacky,
Right?
But they use the third mode to be wacky.
Past that point of going wacky and implausible, you might as well do something that no one's really done and have.
Well, dragons, they've never done dragons. Yeah, so that's a good point.
So have like realistic military.
Maybe we could have a
versus fantasy enemies like dragons and orcs and wizards and shit.
So maybe we could have a fucking Lord of the Ring Call of Duty mashup.
That's exactly what I'm kind of getting at.
Hell yeah, wizards and crap.
So here's what this is what they're gonna plan on doing now. They're rebooting their successful franchise. So obviously we got the reboot of Modern Warfare. They're talking about rebooting Black Ops, so we might get the reset on the Black Ops series and go back in the Cold War until that gets dry, until people get tired of that. Then after that, they're gonna have to think of something else. And of course, since it's Treyarch, they're gonna probably do something cool with the zombies, with the new reboot of the zombies. And at the same time, they're gonna release the HD remakes of the older games. But what I want to see is more space stuff. I want to see Infinite Warfare 2. I know that's not a popular opinion. I want to see that because it left on a very sad ending. And the cool thing about that.
What if you were in outer space, but you fought dragons?
Or you discover an alien planet or something, and dragons are on there.
Space dragons.
You never know, but
and then White Walkers and shit.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to go back a little bit with this idea because the whole Ghost. I know we talked about Ghost a little bit. Ghost had the alien mode.
Yeah, right. They did. They had Extinction.
I was wondering. I kept thinking Aliens. I've seen it before. It's Ghost. Yeah.
It was Ghost. I was thinking, which Call of Duty was it? It was the one that was like realistic, but yet Modern Warfare, yet future. It's like the crossover.
Right.
And
yep.
The ending of Ghost was a cliffhanger anyway, so I kind of want to see what they had planned for Ghost 2.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing I was thinking of back, 10 years ago, I had the idea, I wish they would do more like a medieval warfare. Similar like Chivalry did.
I can see that happening. Yeah.
That would be, to me, a great idea. We never touched World War One. I know Battlefield did, but World War One's an option as well, I would think.
But if people are sick of World War II, and if they go back to World War One, wouldn't it be the same thing?
I think you make a good point. I think to the masses, it would seem like the same thing, even though the actual tech and tactics would be really different.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be way harder, right? Because in World War One, ammunition was less plentiful, the guns were less advanced. World War One
less armor and like gear and things like that.
Yeah, World War One had like very basic like tanks and trucks and stuff,
Yeah.
but it was way more closer to like Civil War combat as far as like what you did.
Right.
You had limited ammunition. You were relying on your bayonet as ultimately your primary weapon. You know, because you had this midpoint between, what do you call it? You know, like
trenches,
not trenches, but like Civil War warfare, Revolutionary warfare.
Oh,
where
like
Yeah,
where
right.
you
you're in rows and stuff.
Right, I know
Where you had
that.
that type of thing, and then World War II.
Dollies, I think it's called, or something like that.
I don't think so, but it was
Something like
that
that.
type of combat, right?
Mhm.
Where it was muskets in a row.
Muskets, yeah, things like that. Mhm.
That was like one era of stuff.
Mhm.
And then on the far end, you have World War II, where it's like gritty trench warfare. We have reliable machinery and vehicles, and you have actual machine guns and stuff. But World War One was like this weird era in between. And even though you can see depictions of it where they have more advanced weaponry,
Mhm.
a lot of the participants in World War One were decades behind. A lot of the people that fought in World War One were still fighting with like, I think I'm getting the details a little off, but still basically using muskets and bayonets and stuff.
Right.
That was Russia in a nutshell.
You said
Russia only
Russia?
had manpower. in
Right.
World War I. So it was just like all they had. We could throw people on there, but they had like one bullet for each gun back then.
Yeah.
Really?
And again,
That's crazy, huh?
So they're relying on their bayonets. So like that's something people forget about, like the Revolutionary War and shit. Is people were fighting with what were basically spears.
Yeah.
That was your main thing. And
Well, speaking of spears, the other thing I was going to point out was back in like 2008, 2010, they were pitching a Call of Duty Roman Wars.
really,
They
What
actually
happened
had
with that? Do you know?
what's that?
What happened with? Did they just stop?
They ended up canceling it because they felt like Call of Duty and Roman didn't make sense at all. Which I mean,
But
it
They,
does.
they couldn't figure out how to
but
make
well,
Russians
it'd
the
be a cool
enemy.
concept.
shooter based.
Roman
They
shot?
eventually
Screenshots.
bond the engine with Skylander. So
Damn. Yeah. So that would be a dope idea too. I mean, I feel like, well, yeah, it's like swords and shit, no, and things like that. It wouldn't really make sense for Call of
Right.
Duty.
You get a very different type of game when you're trying to do a first person shooter without being able to shoot a gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It turns into fucking Skyrim and shit. You know.
like, it's also like medieval was. I mean, you have longbows, you got regular bows, crossbows, ballistas, throwing spears, throwing axes. You have a bunch of stuff you could use then, but
But it's not a machine gun.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
it would be so dope if they did that concept, right? Let's just think real quick, and then you had sword combat. How dope would that first person sword combat, but like legit sword combat, not just like Skyrim where you're just slashing, hashing, where you can actually, block and do different things like that.
What could be interesting? If you push the science fiction thing a little bit,
Mhm.
don't go with aliens, but go with time travel, right?
Yeah.
That
So
could
say
work.
you get something where like, you have like the Russians or like, well, no, you know what? Now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm kind of just
You're regretting it?
well, I'm kind of just end up describing like the vibe of like Wolfenstein 2 or something.
Oh, I love that.
What
that game
what if you
too.
had something where like some rogue Nazis got their hands on time travel stuff? They went way back in time to like
also
maybe-
Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah, basically is
and
what that was.
but they went back to like medieval times, right? But you got to have like the enemies going back in time first,
Right.
so that there's like forts and levels and gear scattered about that you can still acquire, so you're not
Yeah.
just left with whatever you travel with.
Yep.
And then you go back, you're like, let's say you're the American, right? And you go back and so you start off against like dudes with swords. All you have to start the game is like your pistol and the ammo you start with. And of course you can shoot down these guys, but once you start running out of ammo, then you got to pick up a sword and get through. Then you realize, oh, okay, so there's Nazis, and you get some of their ammo, and you can have
Yeah.
a mixture of different guns from across the 20th
Right.
century and shit.
Right.
And you could because then you'd be taking modern gameplay mechanics, like stuff that you might get into in like the later games, but you have this plausible way of incorporating that like raw little resources aspect that you have in like the World War II games,
Yep.
and an entirely new setting that they haven't done before.
Yeah.
Just using time travel as
You want
as
to
a
hear
agreed.
something trippy?
Yeah.
Black Ops 2 took place in 2025, but they
What?
have World War II stuff, and stuff that took place in the 80s. So after you beat the game, you could take all your future tech and take it back in time. So you can
Interesting.
I
so
didn't
you
even
could took your future
really.
you could took your
I'm
future
trying to
guns and play all the World War II stuff.
I'm trying to think like how Black Ops 2 worked. I have not played it in so long. I
Oh,
remember the
okay.
zombies very good though, because that's the one where you can go on the bus, right?
Yeah.
And do
Oh
that whole
God.
thing. Yeah. Hated that, by the way. I didn't like that
No, I
mission
didn't
at
like
all.
that map. So, you know what? You could make a Call of Duty game like Time Splitters, where you have a time machine, and you can fight people. You know, during like certain times. That could
Mm-hmm.
work if you want to do time travel. But you know, it'd be really cool if they really want to push the science fiction stuff. Have like simulation tech. You know, like where you have the simulation machine where you could put yourself in a simulation. And you can control the simulation. Like you could control yourself like you're in like an olden day town with like dragons and in a futuristic town, and multiplayer could take place in a actual simulation. So you can like have futuristic weapons and like what you say, I don't know, like an old school town like you find in like World War, you know, like in Lord of the Rings and stuff like that.
In this simulation, would you be accessing the memories of your ancestors?
Hey, that could work too. You know, I was thinking about this. Like,
I'm sure you get the joke I'm trying to make.
yeah, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, but
We should like copyright all this shit
No,
because
because that's what happens in Assassin's Creed.
which one though?
All of
all
them.
of them.
Oh,
All of
the
them.
ancestors, yeah.
Yeah.
With the what's his name? The main character,
Animus or
Yeah, the guy
Desmond
though.
Miles.
What?
Desmond Miles.
Desmond.
Yeah,
Miles,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm playing it. How can I forget?
How could you forget? You're playing it right the fuck now.
Yeah.
Literally. Oh yeah, so we gotta copyright this crap because I feel somebody's gonna take it, and yeah, we definitely should copyright these ideas. But overall, man, yeah. So one all in one, I think Call of Duty has some good ideas they can jump with. We'll see what they do though. We'll see
But
how they do with the next one because at this point, I feel like if they're not becoming innovative in a sense, then they're just gonna lose out on it. It kind of had like what happened with there was a game that had the same issue. Well, Assassin's Creed is what it was. Assassin's Creed, after the first one came out, super good. A lot of people loved it.
mhm.
And then they came out with the next Assassin's Creed, and then they came out with the one in Italy with Ezio, right?
Two Brotherhood Revelations.
Brotherhood, right? And it started becoming
Same game.
same game,
Mhm.
right? And it became repetitive. And so it kind of killed them in the long run. So
But they did
No.
3. It's like, holy cow, it's a whole different thing.
yeah.
They didn't do the crazy building stuff, so.
Yeah, but I will say though, this is totally irrelevant to Call of Duty. The ship portion of Assassin's Creed was amazing.
The
With
fa-
the Black
yeah.
Flag, I love
Yeah,
it.
Black Flag was
Yeah.
hands down the best.
Yes, it was by far. But if they can do something not similar to Assassin's Creed, because it killed them in the long run. They had this time where people, I think it was Assassin's Creed, the one where it was like more British times, back like British
Unity and Rogue. I think.
Unity and Rogue, where it became very repetitive and it did really bad. So if Call of Duty can defer from that or divert themselves differently to not be like that and do good, innovative games, I think they'll be good in the long run. I just don't know what they can do. I feel like they have, they got to be really inventive this time around.
Here's
you know?
the thing. After them resetting the whole franchise like they're doing now, because at the end of the day, people care about the multiplayer. The single player, we could talk all day about it. They're gonna do whatever they're gonna do, and people are just gonna deal with it. Call of
Yeah.
Duty is such a big franchise; it doesn't really matter like what theme it is, as long as it's the next big Call of Duty, people are just still gonna play it.
Well, you do, yeah. You probably have Call of Duty fanboys and stuff that will play anything that they put out. Yeah.
Mhm. So it's gotten to that point where it doesn't matter really what setting it is.
Not
It's-
really, because I hated Infinite Warfare and shit.
Bro, get outta here.
Another idea right off I'm thinking of, what if they're just focused on multiplayer? I know they have Call of Duty Mobile, which is basically
Black.
the greatest hits.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, literally, they could do a Call of Duty greatest hits of literally best maps, have like every gun known to man in it they've ever had, and just throw it in there. People would be ecstatic for it, you know?
Yeah, make
Right,
like 20 new
right.
maps and
Figure out what to
put
make
a
a
bunch of
campaign
old
with
ones
and
in
make
there.
it time travel based. Make it like, your something along the lines. That'd probably be a great idea too.
Right.
If they did my time travel idea for the main campaign, then the multiplayer would have to be exactly what you're saying.
Right.
We just pitched Call of Duty. What do you call it?
Call of Duty 5?
Call of Duty. It needs a name, like Time War across.
Call of Duty Time Warp.
Time War.
Time Warp.
Time at War.
Time at War.
Time at War. Or no, just Wartime.
Wartime.
Wartime, and it's just a pun.
Wartime.
Wartime.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
They'll probably make it like timely warfare.
Right. We're getting to that time. To close this off, man, because we had a really great conversation. We came up with a lot of good ideas, some that are actually really, really freaking good.
We don't have to copyright them. We just have to wait till they use
them,
and then we have proof that we came up with first.
Exactly.
We can just get a lawyer.
So we'll probably be let's hope that they do it so we can become very rich. But so far we came up with some really good ideas. Overall, man, Call of Duty, I love it. I think it's a great franchise. It revolutionized first-person shooters, and it's gonna continue as long as they can, have a great fan base like they do. It'll continue to do good. And I think all of us can come together and say Call of Duty is a pretty awesome game in general, right? So other than that, man, let's close this off real quick. What do you guys have coming? We'll start off with Factor, then GMillion, Mattytime. I'll go last. What's some content that you have coming up? Some different things? Anything you want to put out for those people listening right now? Go ahead, Factor.
Like I said, I said the Kingdom Come Deliverance. It'll be finished sometime late April for video-wise, but I'm starting my basically 100% playthrough of Revelations, because why not at this point? I've nothing better to do.
Right, exactly. It's not like you can go get a Corona or something out in town.
Right.
Just not the Corona you want. But, yeah. Hell yeah. What about you, G?
So with me, I'm playing as much Persona 5 Royal as I can before Final Fantasy 7. I still don't know how I'm going to pick up my copy because I kind of wanted the physical version, so I might just have to go with the digital one for now because I don't really feel like going to GameStop. So I'm streaming a lot of Persona 5 Royal, so you're going to see a lot of that. Then I do help hexzilla with like some of his reviews that requires co-op because he doesn't have any friends. But
True.
But before I go pass it off to hexzilla or Maddie, Gogo said, why don't you guys talk about GTA San Andreas? We kind of brought it up in our GTA episode, so go back and watch that one.
But I will say, great question. So I don't know if you know about this. I forgot your name. Sorry, man, I couldn't hear it. But
Go.
I played this game. I played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and there's this modification of the game called Los Santos Roleplay. If you ever want to know about it or anything, just hit me up. But because Garrett knows, that's one of the games I still play, San Andreas, and you've seen me play it before, I think too. It's a modification of that game, and it's really dope. So, yeah, I play Grand Theft Auto a lot, dude. And San Andreas for me, best Grand Theft Auto, one of my favorite that they've made.
So
yeah.
So Mattytime, what's gonna be going on in your channel?
I don't even know, man. Just trying to have a good time. That's all we do.
We did a podcast a few days ago.
Yeah, I got a podcast that's gonna try and do that on a weekly basis.
Okay.
Changing up my content these days. I might be doing. We'll see what happens next week. If I was gonna stream anything for gaming, I might do Final Fantasy VII. I just haven't decided whether I want to try and experience that and just really internalize it like I did with my original playing of it back in the day, or if I want to share my excessive Final Fantasy knowledge with the world while I play it. I'm kind of leaning towards just playing it on my own. But if I was ever going to stream a game live again, the last game I streamed live was like a playthrough was Spider-Man.
The new one, right?
It's not new anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The latest one.
So I'm debating that, but that's, as far as gaming goes, that's the only thing that could pop up for me. Yeah, that's
the way the cookie crumbles. I've heard that in the movie, by the way. I think it was the one with
I don't think that phrase quite applies in this where the way you used it.
it sounds good to me. Well, for myself, I'm doing actually a lot of things, but just so you guys can know, Doom Eternal, I'm getting it tonight as soon as I get paid because Amazon, I'm gonna keep saying it because Amazon decided to not give me the game even though I pre-ordered it and there was a whole billing issue they had and whatever. But I'm getting it today. I'm gonna be playing that. I'm gonna be doing a full gameplay walkthrough, the whole 9. Check out my Far Cry. I'm doing like little bits of Far Cry, just kind of funny shit because it has a lot of bugs and stuff. So I'm doing a lot of that just so you can see that. And then the main thing that I'm doing right now is finishing the Division 2, which me and GMillion have been playing.
Right.
So far, it's pretty fun playing it together. So I'm going to finish that up, do a full review on that, and we'll take it from there. Oh, Red Dead Redemption, I'm getting it tomorrow. Red Dead Redemption 2, going to be doing a full review and gameplay. So check that out as well.
You know what you should do with Red Dead Redemption 2?
We'll look at the horse's balls.
Well, besides that, you got to make sure you do it in the snow where they shrivel up. But you should do 100% playthrough.
Yeah,
every little thing. Every little thing.
That's not again.
Because after his shit, I kind of just want to throw the whole game out. No, I'm kidding. That's a lot of fucking gameplay, but yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. As always, make sure we'll put all of our guests' description or information in the description so you guys can check out their channels and all of their stuff. We appreciate you guys watching. As always, we love you guys. Let us know what you want us to talk about next. We got any comments, Garrett? On any other comments we got to hit up?
That's pretty much it. Well, that's the only question that I got. So
yeah, cool. So watch for the next episode on Thursdays. As always, until next time, I'm hexzilla, the Game Killer, and peace out, guys. See ya.
Peace.
Later.